So good morning and greetings from Shenandoah National Park down here in Virginia. This is my first national park. I'm really excited to be here. It's a Tuesday morning, March 18th. A little chilly this morning, but it's going to warm up nicely today. So I'm going to be down here for most of the day, just a day trip. In the future we'll probably camp overnight down here, but yeah, going to do some exploring, some things I've been wanting to see for a while, some cool things, some trails, some volcanic activity sites. But let me show you what I got planned for this video right now. Alright, so over there is Skyline Drive. I just came in from the north entrance up there at Front Royal. This is the Dickey Ridge Visitor Center, which is currently closed. But here's our map from Purple Lizard Maps, of course. This is the north section of the park. So up here's Front Royal. I came in a little bit on Skyline Drive, which is absolutely beautiful. Saw a bunch of wildlife already on the way here. But we're at Dickey's Ridge, and we're going to go over to we're going to hike what's called the Fox Hollow Trail. Go across the way here. There's a cemetery down there, and then we're going to loop around back up. That's the plan for this video. Alright, so we need to make our way across Skyline Drive. Leave Dickey's Ridge Visitor Center behind us. And our trail should just be right over here somewhere. Speaking of wildlife, just up there on the road, some deer. I saw some on the way up. Cool. Maybe a mom. Looks like is there three of them there or just the two? Maybe just the two. Yeah, and just down from the visitor center is the way across. Over here is our trailhead. Already loving the place. Yeah, here's a sign for the Fox Hollow Trailhead. Get you a closer look at what we're going to do. Yeah, so we are here. We're going to head down here. There's some interesting stuff down here. We'll talk about that, the history of this place, and I think I'll loop back to here. Yeah, so already some beautiful wildlife here at Shenandoah National Park. And it's just it's warmer and a little bit greener down here too. We're about, 2.5 hours south from where I live in Pennsylvania. And there's a lot of history here at this park too. Not all of it's the greatest history either, to be honest. I have a book I brought along and I'm going to share with you a little bit. It might be something you're interested in reading. A lot of information about the park and some of that not so great history, shall we say. Because this park was formed, they had to buy out land from people or force them off in many ways. It's a pretty big national park, but it used to be homes. People lived up here. And all that land was taken from them. But we'll talk about that later. I mean, some people willingly sold out, kind of maybe eager to sell out, but others were not so eager to sell out. But that's history, though. That involves the place we're going down here, the Fox family farm, and the cemetery down here. All right, so I think this is also the Dickey Ridge Trail. And a little bit up here, the Fox Hollow Trail will go down to our right. I think about 2 miles round trip this hike will be. And we have more wildlife. I thought this might be mostly a history video, but a little bunny came out. You hiking down to the Fox family farm too? He's like, whatever, dude. Yeah, I'm out of here. Alright, and after not too long, here's the junction with the Fox Hollow Trail. The Dickey Ridge Trail keeps going up there, but we're going to head down into Fox Hollow. I'm just looking back where we came from. Absolutely beautiful day. Just gotta say that. birds singing off in the distance. Well, now they're quiet, but there's one. All right. So there's another YouTube channel that I want to mention here. I want to give credit to. It's C. Spittler. I think his last name is Spittler, and maybe C is his first name, or the first initial. But he has a channel where he films mostly here in Shenandoah National Park, and he looks for all these old homesteads. Depending on what source you read, there's either like up to, I think a Park Service says about 100, but I've heard other sources say there's up to 200 of these cemeteries here within the park. There's a lot of them. A lot of old homesteads, foundations, a lot of neat stuff to see out here, usually off the beaten trail. But he goes looking for those things. So down here, Fox Hollow, I watched his video last night, so some of the things I'm looking for I saw in his video, so I want to give him credit for that. I'll put his name down here so you can check out his YouTube channel if you want to. A little bit of a different style of filming, but if you're into this stuff, you might like what he's doing. But the site we're going to here in this video is right off the trail. Many of these old homesteads and cemeteries are way off in the brush, hidden, lost to most of the people that come to visit here, unless you're really determined to find them. Once you get down to the cemetery, we'll talk a little bit more about that, about the people that used to live here and their story a little bit. I don't know exact details about the Fox family, but their story blends in with many of the others here. Oh yeah, here's our first signs of that something's not normal here. These stone piles. Nice big one right here, just random. We'll talk about that in a moment. There's more of them out here. Looks like there's another one down there. If you're familiar with the farming practices on these mountains, you'll know what those are all about. Alright, I'll quick give you a little bit of scale to how big these are. These are big piles. But yeah, they would, when they farmed these mountains or had pastures, they would take the rocks. These are rocky hillsides. They'd pile the rocks up out of the pasture or out of their fields and just stack them up to get them out of the way. That's what all these rock piles are about. Farming up in these mountains was difficult. The land wasn't super fertile and it was very rocky, so they eked out a living up here. More rock piles down here. If you're looking for the site, the Fox family site, when you get to those rock piles, you're getting close. Yeah, here's another one. Another one up there. Another massive pile up there. That in and of itself took a lot of work just to pile these up. I mean, maybe there's other reasons for them, but I know from just studying other places, that's what they did a lot. To clear out, so they could, like I said, farm or grow crops and things like that. Imagine you have to pile those all of yourself. There's one. Alright, I think we have arrived. I see a stone wall up here. This might be our cemetery. Like I said, this cemetery is easy to find. It's right off the trail. Right here it is. But many others in the park are like the way out. Difficult to find. No trails leading to them anymore. Maybe old roads, long forgotten. Yeah. The Fox family cemetery. Wow.
This one's kept up a little bit nicer than probably a lot of them are. Wow. Got a few graves in here. There's probably more. A lot of them probably don't have markers. I see daffodils coming up in there. Somewhere by that marker over there. The raven up there. Yeah, so let's take a closer look. How's that raven? I feel like I'm being scolded. He's flying up there. Yeah, we have Gertrude Fox, died in 1904. So the park was formed in the 1930s. So all the people in here were buried prior to then. And these little metal markers. This one's all busted up with the metal markers there. Thomas Fox died in 1873, born in 1811. Some more daffodils up there. So like I said, there are more people in here. I just don't have markers anymore. Lemuel Fox died in 1916. I think this might be his footstone here. Got what they call this the Southern Cross. It's a Civil War marker. 1861-65. We don't see these up in Pennsylvania. Another Southern Cross. So there's somebody buried here. And there's another metal marker for an Emily May Fox. 1935, so about when the park was established. Late 30s, I think it finally became a park. So like I said, there are more people buried here, probably throughout here. Yeah, so as I was saying at the beginning, many of these people that lived up in these hills were forced off their homes, forced off their properties to make this national park. Some people did leave willingly. You know, they took the money and made a better life for themselves, like as you say. But some people, even though it's tough living up here, you know, the land isn't very fertile, the winters were cold, you know, they kind of eked out a living. I think a plane flying overhead. Whenever I film the plane as a fly overhead, they still loved this land. They loved living here. I have a book, like I said. Get it out. It's called Shenandoah. I'll give you a close-up view in a minute. It's called Shenandoah, A Story of Conservation and Betrayal by Sue Eisenfeld. It's a good book. She has a balanced approach. You know, she talks about appreciating what's here. You know, today we can come here and hike. It's a beautiful spot, but there is a more tragic side to it. She tells a little bit about the people and their stories. She doesn't give exact locations of where some of these places are, but if you're determined, you could probably find where some of the hikes she goes on, some of the places she takes you to. Some really interesting places where you can find like a lot of relics of the past. So let me show this to you a little closer if you're interested in this book. That's what it looks like. And there's her name there. So I don't know about the Fox family in general. You know, did they leave willingly or were they, you know, forced off? You know, because some people were jailed for not leaving. Some people went into town, came back and found their house burned down. A lot of tragic stuff. But you can't change history, though. It is kind of is what it is. But when you come to places like this, you kind of wonder what their story is. You know, because some people lived here for many generations. You know, this was their home. If you know my history a little bit, you know I can sympathize with that a little bit. Anyway, I also talk about the old farm I lived on. I know it's like to, you know, be forced off the land that you love. But yeah, just kind of sit here. There's a feeling to the place. You kind of wonder. Anyway, we're gonna look for a few more stuff here in the area. Remember, I mentioned that one YouTuber, Spittler. think there's some stuff down here to look for. We'll see. But this is the main thing I wanted to find in this video, their family cemetery. Alright, but farewell to the Fox family cemetery. It's a peaceful spot. Back up here a little bit, get it all in frame. Alright, but we'll head down the trail. I think there's a spring down here and something else I want to find that he showed in his one video. Who knows, maybe we'll see more. You gotta understand too that there's probably a lot more to see out here, but it is so thick with brush that everything's kind of hidden. Because you got a picture, you know, 100 years ago, these were fields and pastures, and I just kind of grown up. If you're gonna come look for places like this, you know, this is the time of year to do it. You know, either in the fall or winter, early spring, before everything greens out. All the leaves come out and obscure everything. Alright, so I think the spring is down there, but I'm just looking over here. I see a pile of stone. I've seen some cut stone. If there's some daffodils up there, that's always a sign of people living here. I see a brick up there, so there might have been a structure right here at one point. Like right there, that's a cut stone. Let's just quick. It's not too thick back here. Yeah, whenever you see these daffodils coming up, there's more. Yeah, more up there, more up there. There's probably a house right in here, or some structure. Yeah, right there's a brick. Some more stone. This might have been a structure right here. Quick walk back here. Seems like a lot of airplanes fly over this area. Yeah, I think I see something right up there. Yeah, this part wasn't in the video I watched. Yeah, there's a nice little open spot right here. Head down here. Yeah, right. It's getting kind of thick here. A lot of stonework right here. So I feel like, let's see if we can get through here. This looks like an old apple tree almost, but yeah, they had a lot of orchards up here too, I should mention that. A lot of people grew fruit trees. Yeah, it's definitely some kind of structure was here. Oh, just trip over everything. Alright, but let's find our way back to the trail. Another sad aspect to this is as a way to justify what they were doing, the powers that be, they kind of painted these people as being like a backwards people, and that they needed to be removed from this land. They were kind of a dirty, illiterate bunch of, you know, primitives living up here, I guess you could say, and that they were doing a good thing by removing them and making them live in, you know, the towns down the valley and stuff. You know, in some ways maybe they were a little bit more disadvantaged up here, but they were people like everybody else. They weren't any less. But you know, when you paint people that way, it helps to justify what you're doing. So that's kind of sad too. And now the birds are singing. Wow. Oh yeah, up here's what I was looking for. Like a spring box, I guess you'd call it. Looks like our trail goes that way, but I think there's something further down here in the woods too, but yeah.
It's an old spring. I guess it comes out right here. You can see it running down through there. Oh, I would drink it. I think down that way is something else that's kind of cool. So that other area I was at just earlier was up in there. All that rubble was. Yeah, I saw something else in his video. I think we need to go. Man. I think he was following a spring for a little bit back there. Oh, here's another pile of rocks right here. All right, well, I'm gonna, let's see here. I gotta decide where I'm gonna go in. Not exactly sure where he went in. Okay, so I was just ready to make a video segment here where I can tell you I'll let that item go. I'm not gonna look for it because I don't know exactly where it is. And I looked over here. Right there it is. It's right off the trail. So that worked out. Yeah, there's an old millstone here. Just a little one. Cool. I'll try to set the camera down somewhere. But yeah, it's not that big. So probably, but look how thick it is. I mean, that little stream was down there. So maybe somewhere around here there was a mill, you know, like a grinding house or mill house. Yeah, so here you can get an idea of how big the millstone is. It's like I said, it's not very, let me get down here. It's not very big at all. It's still cool. A little remnant of the history that's out here. A farewell little millstone. You come to wonder, you know, how it ended up there. What's the story behind that too? So, all right, we'll keep on going. So this trail does loop around back to where we started. So we're gonna keep going. We'll keep our eyes open for other things. Other signs of, as I'm saying that, here's a stone wall right here. Coming down. Look at this. An old stone wall. Coming down through there. Keeps on going down the hillside here. This is that spring that comes down from up that way was that spring house, or that spring box. And then here's, you can see the stone wall. Actually, there's a split here. It comes here. There's like a way in, and it continues right across the spring there. Yeah, wow. Probably all kinds of history hidden throughout these woods here. All kinds of like artifacts and foundations. If I lived closer to here, I'd be out here in these woods all the time looking for all that stuff, but you know, it's about 2.5 hour drive for me to get here to the northern part of the Shenandoah National Park. But yeah, if I lived, like I said, if I lived closer, I'd be, I don't know, I'd be out here every weekend maybe looking for things like that. But yeah, since I live so far away, you gotta do what you gotta do on these trips. That actually right there looks like some kind of a foundation too. Yeah, I think they're doing some kind of tree work. I hear like a rumbling noise up there. As I was crossing the road to the trailhead, a bunch of like tree trimming trucks drove by, so I think they're doing some work somewhere. But yeah, you might hear that in background noise a little bit.
Yeah, that noise is getting louder. I think you're hearing the, what do they call it, the chipper shredder. You know, they cut the tree limbs, they throw it in that machine that, you know, chops it all up. Anyway, I mean, they gotta do what they gotta do here in the park, so. Breaks the silence here a bit, though. But we're nearing the end of this hike, though, too. Just making our way back up. But in the end, you have mixed feelings about a place like this. Even that book I showed you, that lady does as well. You know, she kind of exposes some of the not so great history of the park. But there's a place like this back home, Blue Marsh Lake. If you follow my channel, I often hike there. That was taken by eminent domain as well to build a dam and a lake. But I love hiking there. You know, I know people lost their homes, but it's a place I'd love to go hiking. So it's kind of like this here too. Like, this is a beautiful place to come to. So much natural wonder and beauty here in this park. But at the same time, you know, people had to leave their homes for that to happen. So, you know, yeah, mixed feelings. All right, so I think this is the Dickey Ridge Trail again, and the visitor center should just be right over there. All right, but that'll be it for this video then, folks. Found all the things I was looking for on this little hike down there in the Fox Hollow. A little out of breath, a little out of shape. Haven't been doing as much hiking recently. Need to take care of that, so fix that. So the next place I'm going to is to the Sneed farm, which is just down the road actually. They're a place, they're an abandoned home site. With a little more left to it though. That'll be for the next video. All right, thanks for coming along. Hopefully we'll see you on the next one.